Right. Question number one here. This video is an explanation for question number one. So it says, suppose the radius of a sphere is quadrupled, which means that the factor is 4 times larger. So that means that our new radius is 4 times as large as our original radius, or that our factor is equal to 4. Okay, so if that's the case, I want to figure out what's going to happen to the surface area of the sphere. And I also want to figure out what's going to happen to the volume of the sphere. Well, for the surface area, the formula for the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. Okay, and instead of the plugging in r, I now have 4r as my new radius. So I'm going to take 4r and I'm going to square that. So here it becomes 4 pi. Now I have to square everything inside of here. So it becomes 4 pi times 16r squared. Okay, this right here is the new surface area. This right here is the original surface area. And I want to figure out how many times bigger the new one is than the original one. So I'm going to take the new surface area, 4 pi times 16r squared, divide that by 4 pi r squared. Well, the 4's cancel out, the pi's cancel out, and the r squared's canceled out. So I'm left over with just 16. Which means that the surface area is 16 times larger. So we can say, therefore, the surface area is 16 times larger. Okay? Now let's do the same thing for the volume. So for the volume, the formula is 4/3 pi r cubed. So here I'm going to do v equals 4/3 pi, and instead of r, I'm going to replace it again with this 4r. And I'm going to cube it because that's what the formula says. So right here, I'm just going to say v equals 4/3 pi. Now I need to cube the 4 and the r, so I get r cubed. That part is easy. But when I cube the 4, it means 4 times 4 times 4, which is 16 times 4, because 4 times 4 is 16, which is 64. So this ends up being 4/3 pi times 64r cubed. Okay, so right here, when I divide it, I get 4/3 pi times 64r cubed over 4/3 pi times times r cubed, because this right here is the original volume. Okay, so the r cubeds go, the 4/3 go, the pi's go. I'm left over with 64. So the surface area is 6 times larger, and the volume is 64 times larger. Now, if you look right here, that's how I would do it, but all I have to look at and see is that I'm squaring right here the r, and the r's factor is now 4, so I'm going to square the 4, and I get 16, which is the answer that I get here. Okay, and then here, this is r cubed, and since my factor again is 4, I'm going to do 4 cubed, which we figured out here is 64, so that's why it is 64 times larger. Okay, and that's how you do question number 1.